I didn't lose $320,000. I lost my son.
And the worst part, I still wait for him to call every single day.
I signed the check on a Tuesday morning, $320,000. Everything I had, and my hand didn't even shake. I thought I was giving my son a future. I didn't know I was signing away my own. My name is Harold. I'm 85 years old. And I'm telling you this story from a one-bedroom apartment I never planned to live in a town where nobody knows my name. But I need to go back, way back, because what happened didn't start with the money. It started with a promise. I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. My father worked at a paper mill 6 days a week. He smelled like wood pulp and exhaustion every night when he came through the door. We never had much. Christmas was one gift if we were lucky, and that gift was usually something we needed, not something we wanted. But my father told me something when I was 10 years old that I carried with me my entire life. He said, "Harold, a man's job is to make sure his children never feel what he felt." I believed that. I built my whole life around it. I married young, 22. Her name was June. She had this quiet laugh that could fill a room without trying. We moved to a small house outside Columbus. I got a job at the post office. She worked part-time at a pharmacy. We weren't rich, but we were deliberate. Every paycheck we saved something, even if it was $20, even if it hurt. Our son Kevin was born in 1974. And the moment I held him, something locked into place inside me. I looked at that boy and thought, he will never go without, and he didn't. We put him through school, helped him with his first car, paid for half his college. June and I never took vacations. We didn't remodel the kitchen. We didn't buy new furniture when the couch started sagging in the middle. Because the money had a purpose, and the purpose was Kevin. But here's where things started to shift. And I didn't see it, not for years. Kevin got married in 2002, a woman named Diane. She was polite enough at first, but there was something behind her eyes I couldn't name. A kind of distance, like she was always measuring things, measuring us. June noticed it before I did. She told me once, "Harold, that woman looks at us like we're a budget line." I told her she was being unfair. I wish I had listened. After June passed in 2016, everything changed. I was alone for the first time in 53 years. The house felt like a museum. Her coffee mug was still by the sink. Her robe still hung on the bathroom door. And Kevin, he called once a week. Sometimes less. But then one day, about 2 years after June died, Kevin came to visit. He sat across from me at the kitchen table. He looked tired, nervous. And he told me something I wasn't ready for. He said, "Dad, we're in trouble." He said Diane had lost her job, that their mortgage was behind, that the kids needed things for school, that they had debt I didn't know about. He didn't ask me for money directly. He didn't have to. I looked at my son sitting there, and I saw the same fear I saw in my father's eyes when the mill cut hours. I couldn't bear it, so I made the decision. I went to the bank the next week. I moved everything. $320,000. A lifetime of skipped vacations, secondhand coats, and grocery store coupons, all of it, into Kevin's account. He hugged me in the parking lot. He said, "Dad, I'll take care of you. I promise. You'll never need anything." And I believed him because he was my son, and because I needed to believe him. What I didn't know, what I wouldn't find out until much later, is that the money didn't go where Kevin said it would. The first few months were fine. Kevin called, he thanked me. He told me they'd paid off the mortgage. I felt good. I felt like June would have been proud. But then the calls got shorter, then less frequent. Then I started noticing things. Kevin bought a new truck. Diane posted photos from a resort in Canton. Their kids had new everything. Phones, clothes, shoes. I didn't say anything. I told myself they deserved it. They'd been struggling. But by month 8, Kevin stopped answering the phone altogether. I called on a Sunday. No answer. I called on a Wednesday. No answer. I left a voicemail, then another. Then I stopped counting. And then something happened that I will never forget as long as I live. I drove to his house. It was a 40-minute drive. When I pulled up, the driveway had a new car in it. Not Kevin's, Diane's, a white SUV with a bow still on the dashboard from the dealer. I knocked on the door. Diane answered. She looked at me like I was a salesman, not like I was the man who gave them everything I had. She said Kevin wasn't home. She said he was busy. She said maybe call next time. I stood on that porch for a moment. I looked past her into the house. New furniture, new television, new curtains. And on the wall, a photo of June. My June in a frame I'd never seen before, hanging in a house I helped pay for but was no longer welcome in. I drove home in silence. Some mistakes don't hurt immediately. They wait, they let you settle in, and then they crack you open from the inside. Over the next year, my savings ran dry. I had kept a small amount for basics, but it wasn't enough. My health costs went up. My roof started leaking. I had to sell June's car just to keep the lights on. And Kevin, he knew. He had to know, but he didn't come. I eventually called him one last time. It was late. He picked up. And what he said, I wasn't prepared for. He said, "Dad, you gave me that money. It was a gift. I didn't ask you to do that." I couldn't speak. He said, "You need to figure things out on your own. We have our own family to think about." The line went dead, and something inside me went with it. I want to stop here and say something. Not about Kevin, about me. Because the truth is, not with words, but with every sacrifice I made that he never asked for, every time I put his needs above my own without teaching him what that cost, I gave and gave and gave, and I never taught him that love is not just receiving, it's returning. I made him the center of everything. And when the center has no weight to carry, it doesn't learn to hold anything up. That is the mistake I made, not the check. The silence, the years of giving without ever saying, this is what it means, this is what I'm choosing. And one day, I'll need you to choose me back. I never said that. And so he never learned it. I'm 85 now. I live in a small apartment in a town I moved to because the rent was low. And nobody here asks questions. I have a neighbor named Ruth who brings me soup on Wednesdays. I have a library card I use 3 times a week. I have a window that faces east, and every morning the sun comes in and sits on the kitchen table where I eat alone. Kevin sent a card last Christmas, store-bought, signed with just his name. No note, no photo of the grandkids. Just Kevin. I put it on the fridge. I don't know why. Maybe because even now, after everything, I still see that baby I held in 1974. That tiny hand wrapped around my finger. That moment when I swore I would give him everything. And I did. I just didn't know that everything would include myself. If you're watching this, and you're young, but teach them what your love costs. Not in dollars, in years, in choices, in things you'll never get back. Because if they don't see it, they won't value it. And if they don't value it, they'll walk away from it, from you. And if you're watching this and you're a son or a daughter, call your parents. Not next week, not when it's convenient. Now, because one day that phone will ring and no one will answer, and you will live the rest of your life with that silence. I know, because I live in silence now. But I'll tell you one thing that keeps me going. Every morning, when that sunlight hits the table, I talk to June. I tell her about my day. I tell her about the book I'm reading. I tell her I'm sorry I didn't listen when she tried to warn me. And I swear some mornings I can almost hear that quiet laugh of hers. That's enough. That has to be enough.